Hello, mutants. I'm Mutisha, the movie goddess, and you're watching Mutant TV.
Hello friends, you got Johnny Brenso back with you once again for another episode of the Collector's Corner. Today we're going to be talking about a recent acquisition, which would be this poster. It's for The Curse from Transworld Entertainment, starring Will Wheaton, Claude Akins, John Schneider. It's a very cool poster concept. The film, we'll get into that as well. I'm also going to give a brief review of the film, but first we'll talk about the poster. I received this from eBay seller Artisan Pro, also known as Midnight Screenfest, one of my primary sources for quality original one-sheets. So shout out to Midnight Screenfest, thanks very much. Got a good price on this poster. It's in pretty good shape. Of course it's folded, as most posters from the era are, and it has a slight amount of fold damage right here at the bottom. I don't know if you can quite make this out on screen, but I plan to have this mounted on a foam core, so I don't anticipate that'll be a problem. Other than that, the poster looks great. Fantastic design. It's got Will Wheaton's creepy face. I think it's creepy if you ask me. Up here in the corner, sort of in relief, and this awesome bolt of lightning coming down, intersecting the curse, and all the way down to the ground you see a farmhouse. And I guess the poster tries to do a good job of summing up the threat, which is the movie The Curse is actually, it's a little bit confused about what kind of a movie it actually is. It really starts off like a alien threat, germ infection, whatever, from space. An asteroid comes in, lands in their farm, and makes a big hubbub, because it glows and whatnot for days. But then it eventually melts, and it goes into the soil, and that's where things take a turn for the bizarre. The crops start growing extremely large, and of course the farmer at first thinks, well, I won't tell anybody. I'll just capitalize on this. And unfortunately, inside of the vegetables and apples and whatnot are like this alien muck and worms. But him being like a crazy zealot kind of character, Claude Akins' character, he decides to make his kids eat it, make his wife eat it. Will Wheaton and his sister, actually played by his real life sister Amy, and their mom have recently lost, I guess, the original father. This farmer character played by Claude Akins, who's a bit of a religious hard ass, takes them in, and I guess they get married, whatever. But he's real cold to her, and she's sort of still a young, attractive woman looking for affections of the male variety, and ends up in the sack with the farmhand. At which point he catches her. This all happens the night of the asteroid. He catches her in that, and instead of flipping out right then, he just kind of holds it all in, and is cruel to her in his own little way, as she actually becomes the first to become infected by the rotten crops from space. I should mention that this film is based on, it says right here on the poster, based on H.P. Lovecraft's Color Out of Space. Never read that. I actually want to now, because this is a really, really strange movie. I can't say that it's a good movie, because I'm a fan of the genre, and that sort of cheesy 80s goofiness is just appealing to me. It was a good watch for me. I can't recommend it if you're not into that sort of a movie. But I digress. I'll just go on with the story here, and I guess I should have mentioned there might be a few spoilers. I'm trying not to ruin it for you. John Schneider plays sort of a water authority agent that comes in. He's trying to uncover what's going on with this infection, and ultimately becomes entangled in everything there locally. The poster, I have to say, is very, very good. I'm really pleased with the poster. But it does seem like kind of a mixed message about the kind of movie that this is. And again, when I watched the film, I thought, wow, it looks like they decided halfway through to make it a different kind of film. You think that it's like some sort of, unintelligent alien sort of infection that's caused all this. It makes the animals go crazy, makes people turn into kind of like zombie type, not really zombies, but infected, mutated, pustulent, boil-having people that become very violent. So in that aspect, it's kind of like 28 Days Later, but not. They're not trying to eat you; they're just trying to kill you. But then toward the end, it gets really crazy, and the hand coming up out of the field here sort of reflects that, because you see the house is actually being gripped by this giant hand. Believe it or not, at the end they decide that it's not scary enough if it's just an outer space threat that's coming and infecting them, and they make it sort of a sentient thing where it actually tries to trap people in the house. And there's a really goofy shot. They have a miniature set up. There's a goofy shot of the house where you can actually see one of the crew members dumping dry ice in behind it. It's really totally destroys the illusion, and they actually left it in. I'm just amazed they left that shot in. But you can clear as day see a bucket, and chucking in some dry ice, and the house sort of shaking and whatnot. I enjoy miniature work, but that definitely destroys the illusion when you see a bucket like twice the size of the house. But again, it adds to the cheese factor, the so bad it's good factor. Wil Wheaton famously said, the only thing good about the curse was that my sister got a job out of it. I think that's kind of hilarious, but yeah, so it's pretty cool. It was produced by Lucio Fulci, but that's about as far as his involvement went, it looks like, because it just doesn't have the same quality of his stuff. There's a really good payoff with the religious zealot farmer character played by Claude Akins, and also the very first person infected, which is Wil Wheaton's mother character in this, and you have to kind of follow it through to see that, because there's some fantastic makeup, I will say, toward the end of the film. Some of it leading up to the final stage makeup, it's so. But at the end of it, there's some they definitely pay off with the latex effects and stuff. I enjoyed the picture. It spawned 2 sequels, so that intrigues me, because it was a very low budget film that. I guess it developed a cult following. Maybe a great poster helped to create that situation. But it is very, very bizarre. It kind of stands in its own genre, really, in being alien threat from outer space, but then turning sort of like demonic entity, trying to crush everybody that it can touch. It's hard to put a finger on the subgenre, because it's really kind of on its own. I can't think of another film exactly like that. But at any rate, got the poster for a good price, and I really enjoy it here in my little collector's corner. And I hope you've enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for our show next week, where we'll be talking about the first sequel to The Curse 2, which I can already tell you is a sequel in name only, but actually a previous film. So check that out, and we'll be back with more next week. Thanks.